Hey there, how's it going? I've just made an awesome video for these, a pair of wireless microphone sets I got from Hollyland, and I need to make a thumbnail for that video. So I thought, hey, if I'm going to set all this up, I might as well film it and show you how I'm doing it, talk you through what I do with the composition of the photo, the lighting, actually taking the photo, and have a look at how I do all of that, because I thought you might be interested. So I'm going to head over now to the other desk behind me here, where I've got some bits set up and I've got some cameras set up, and we'll put it all together and I'll show you what I do and the process I go through for getting a cool thumbnail. And afterwards I'll also show you all the gear that I use, so that if you're interested in any of it, you can click on the links I've got down below and go and get some for yourself. Okay, let's go have a look. Radio, so here I have got my two sets of microphones, and down here is a chessboard. What I'm going to do is open these up and lay them out on the chessboard in a way that's going to make a nice photo. So let's start by getting these things out of the cases. I'm going to do this real quickly because I'm trying to do it without cutting this video. There's the black set, and I've got some muff things sitting here. I'll just grab a couple of these cables out of here as well so I can lay them around, and I'll just put that case up at the back. Then I'll open up the other one so I can display the white set at the same time. There we go. I'm not going to want anything else out of there. That's enough in the way of props. Now what I'm going to do is set these chess pieces up I've got here around the chessboard, just to sort of continue that motif. I'm just going to use one of these, I'll just use one of the pawns here so that I can stand up one of these cases like that and sort of lean it back a little bit. The other case I'll leave flat like that. And I'm thinking that I'm going to want to take my photo sort of on a bit of an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these up so that they're in a line along here so I can get a shallow depth of field. And I'm going to put some of these chess pieces, the taller ones can come up around the back and be in the background here, and then some of the pawns and smaller bits I'll put round in the front here, so that I've got just a sort of a smattering of them around to basically just create a layout. Nothing in particular. I'm not trying to get them precise on the screen or anything like that. So these cables here, I just want to smatter them around. I might just push them up against there or something, so that they're present but not in the way. And I've got the two wind muffs here that I'm just going to, I might just put them up on that case for now. Right, now in here I want to take one of the microphones and a receiver out of each case. So what I'll do is I'll just pull that receiver there out, and I'm just going to stand that one up in front like that, and this microphone I'll put up here. I'll grab a microphone out of this case and I'll lay that one down, and this receiver I'll just have standing up over here or something. And just going to have a quick look at the composition of that straight away. This is just real quick, just want to see what it looks like and how it feels, and then I'm just going to move these things around a bit. I don't want them to look too set up, but I do want them to sort of be appealing, so I've got the names up the right way and that kind of thing. And I'm going to make sure that they're all in a single focal plane. I might have to lean that back up against the case a little bit. There we go. And I just want to try and get the logo on that case there visible as well. So I'll just put that one there. That's looking all right, I think. That's looking okay. So that's not a bad display. I'll go with that for the purposes of this video. What I'm doing this for, by the way, is to build a thumbnail that I'm going to use, and for the video I just made on these microphones, which is already out, and there'll be a link to that at the end of this video. Okay, so now what I want to do is get a couple of lights set up for this thing. At the moment I've got one big light up here that's lighting up the whole scene, just so that I can see things. I'm going to turn that one down eventually because I don't want too much of this. I don't want it to be flat like it is now. So I've got a set of lights here from SmallRigh, and on these SmallRigh stands as well. Here's the first one I'm going to set up here. I'll just turn that one on, and show you what that looks like straight away. There we go. I'm going to angle that down a bit. Here we go, so that it's not spilling too far. Now this one's quite good as a fill light or a key light because it's got this neat little grid on it here, and that really shows up, keeps the light going in a single direction and not too much spill. Then I'm going to have another light that I've got over the other side here. I'll turn that one on as well. And this one's got a softbox on it, which is going to soften the light up. Now, from the perspective of where I'm taking the photo from, which is here, this gives it a bit of a backlight. This one gives it a side light, so it's got some shape and stuff. So you can see it's bright around the side here, bit of shadow on the front, and a little bit brighter around here. But you get that sort of shape and gradient on it. And you can see that on the chest figures as well. Now, that's giving a fairly good even light across it, but I want to shape the light up a little bit, and that's where these things here come in. These are small lights from SmallRigh. Once again, it's just a cob LED in the front of it here, and I can just put this magnetic snoot on the front of it. I think it's called a snoot, that's what I've always called it, and I can extend the legs out on this tripod here as well. And what I'm going to do is use two of these to get light down on these microphone sets directly. So I want to specifically light those up. So let's get one of these set up here, and I'm just going to turn that on, and I'm going to light up around here. Basically, I want more significant light on the microphone sets so that I can turn the rest of it down, and this will be a lower light behind it. Here's another one over here. I'll just put that on the other side here, turn that on as well, and turn it right up. They've got 4 levels of light in them. 3, there it is. So as you can see, those brighten up these things that I really want highlighted quite intensely. And this snoot shape thing that I've got on the front of it here, this thing here, that makes sure that the light is on a very tight beam towards these things, so I'm not lighting up too much around the side of them or anything like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. If I just cover these over, you can see the difference that makes to brightening those up and giving them a bit more shape. That's looking a lot better straight away. So what I'm going to do is take a couple of photos of that as it is, and then have a little bit of a look and see what else I might do. Actually, I've got one more light here that I might just set up over here as a backlight down on these things. So I'll just turn that one there on, and I will loosen that and angle it down just so it's giving a bit of a backlight, and it's pointing straight down on here, and that just takes some of the harsh shadow off a couple of things. Okay, let's take a photo of that. Now, to take the photo, I'm going to be using this, which is a Lytro Lume camera. It's not one that people use a lot. I like using it for this sort of photo because it's a camera that lets me set the f-stop and the depth of field and everything like that after I've taken the photo, because it shoots light fields rather than flat images. But I'll go into that in another video. I'll put a link to another video about this camera down in the description, so you can go click on that and have a look at that there. Okay, by turning off my main light and see if I can get my high contrast between what I've got in here. It'll sharpen the light up a bit because I won't have this big soft light coming over the top, but it should make my background more black as well. And I'll take a couple more snaps. It's good to get a few different angles as well while you're taking the photos, because you're never entirely sure what you're going to get out of them, and what you can see through the viewfinder may not necessarily be exactly what you want in the end photo. Okay, I've taken half a dozen shots of this. All of this was done using SmallRigh equipment, by the way. The lights, the stands and everything are things I've bought from there. I find this equipment is brilliant, and this includes the cage that I've got my main camera on and the cage that I've got my cell phone on that I'm recording and talking to you on here. So I will put some links below to where all of this gear is, and I'll quickly show you some of it in a minute. But first of all, let's go and get these photos off the camera and see what they look like. Okay, so now we've got that shot, I'm just going to have a quick look at some of the photos, and well, basically here they are. Okay, now I'm in the Lytro desktop application, and I can scout here through some of these photographs I've taken. Some of them are just throwaways because they don't work quite so well, but what I'm going to do is I think I kind of like this one here. Needs straightening up. A couple of these are quite good, some of them are not so much, but what I'm going to do is just quickly show you how I can use these to tidy up the image and set the depth of field, and why I like using that particular light field camera. So I'm just going to grab say this one here, and I can come and set the white balance easily now just by choosing something that's actually white on screen. I tend to go for something that's got a mid-grey in it rather than a pure blown out white, because it just gives me a better white balance, and it's setting that at 5200 Kelvin. I happen to know the light I'm using was 5400 Kelvin, so I'm actually going to set that in there as a fixed number. And then I'm just going to choose the auto toning, which usually doesn't make a lot of adjustment, but just a little bit. It's made the blacks denser. You can also see why I turned out that background light and put more intensity on the foreground light, because it just takes my entire background to black except for this little bit of flaring up the top corner, but I can take care of that in Photoshop later. What I do want to do in this photo is just take the exposure down a very small amount, so I'm just going to nudge that down, say -2, sorry, -1, that was way too much, -1. That just brings that down a bit. Maybe I'll bring that up a bit more and just make it -0.5 or something like that. There we go, and that just stops this from blowing out on those intense whites. That's just giving it a little bit more texture, so that's pretty cool. And now what I want to do is just set the depth of field here, and I can do that by either just clicking on something on the photo that I want to be the focal point, and as you can see it changes what's being focused on, because this camera shoots, as I said earlier, a complete light field. Now what I can do to set a full depth of field is come down here and choose the near focus point, and I can click on something like this closest microphone I've got here, and then I've got another sampler here where I can choose the furthest focal point, and I'm just going to choose this microphone here at the back. There you go. So I've got those, and now those two things are at either end of my focal range. This is the actual final depth of field, and what the software's done here is it's changed the f-stop and a couple of other settings just to give me that focal spread. The other tools you can use are here, where I can actually manually set that focal spread, and it will show you what is in near and close focus or not. So I can tune that down to something like that, and the near focus at the same time I can bring that in, and it will highlight that up and show you what is and isn't in focus. So the stuff that's highlighted here is outside of the depth of field. There we go. So that's pretty cool, and I can tidy up a photo and get it into this state pretty fast. And so there you go. That's how I take my photos for thumbnails, and now I'm going to quickly just show you the gear that I'm using to do that. And here are the items. Here are a couple of the items I used while making this video. These are the small lights that I've been using that have got these neat little desktop tripods. I've got a few other desktop tripods here, different models that I've bought from SmallRigh and got from SmallRigh over time. There's the cell phone holder there for the iPhone 14, and a couple of these LED panels that I've been using. There's a couple that they were nice enough to send me a couple of years ago. Another couple of things I use quite a lot are this soft light here, which is a desk light on the stand. I bought a couple of those for myself because they're really useful. And the small lightweight travel tripod I've got here as well. So that's the SmallRigh gear I used for making this video and shooting the thumbnail. Now if you're interested in any of that gear, it's all linked to down below, so please do go click on that, have a look around. If there's anything you want, go ahead and buy it. They're affiliate links, so I get a bit of a kickback on them, but that's what helps me do all of this and make these videos for you. Subscribe here as well if you want to see more of my videos, and you can watch this one, and don't forget to click all these neat links and likes and subscribes and memberships and all that sort of stuff down below, and I will see you in another video real soon. Thanks for stopping along. Have a great day.